Okay, let's go.
いよいよに幕を開けたぞ。
Oh yeah, he just killed all of them. I forgot.
ベアトリーチェを蘇らせる儀式の始まりだ。運よく第一の番を逃れた者たちに我が友人たちを紹介しようではないか。入れよ我がロノウェイ。
When Kinzo called Ronove's name, the demon butler showed himself midair, bowing respectfully.
皆様方、はじめまして。そして、ご無沙汰の皆様におかれましてはごきげんよう。これはまた派手に散らかされましたようで。
よいわ。我が白昼夢のごとき日々を覚ますにはこの程度の刺激が必要だ。紹介しよう。我が友人であり頼れる執事であり72柱の大悪魔であるロノウェだ。
以後お見知りおき。
Just who is he making that introduction to? Kraus and Kirie, who are still down on their backsides, Nanjo, Goda, and Kumasawa, could only look up at the middle-aged gentleman they didn't know in shock. Only Shannon and Cannon seemed to recognize him, and they bowed deeply.
現時には挨拶が叶いませんでしたか。せめて苦痛なく役目を終えられたなら良いのですが。
頭部直撃弾にて即死でした。苦痛を味わう暇もありません。
そうですか、結構です。
続けて友を紹介しよう。入れよ我が友ワルギリア。
So Kumasawa isn't Virgilia? Once again, a silhouette of someone the relatives didn't know appeared from the empty space. She appeared in a refined dress while making an elegant greeting.
召喚を感謝します、親方様。許されるならば、このような血生臭き場に呼び出されたくはありませんでしたが。
こやつも紹介しよう。我が友であり頼れる相談役でもあるワルギリアだ。偉大なる有限の魔女であるお前の力を、その力を貸せ。
お断りしようにも、あなたの強力な召喚霊族下にある身では、それ御意に、親方様。
それにしても恐ろしいお方だ。シエスタの姉妹兵を3人も召喚し、召喚という能力において何とはいえ、お嬢様をもはるかに上回ると後ろ宮の地に旋律を覚えます。
ベアトリーチェ復活の儀式を執り行うためにまだ足りぬな。この度の儀式の完璧なる遂行のためにさらに召喚しよう。ペンドラゴンの記念兵にロノウェにワルギリア。まだ呼べるぞ。我が魔力ならまだまだ呼べる。我が召喚に応えよ。72柱が一人ガープよ。
Oh, a new person.
ガープをあれまでも権限できるというのですか。
さらにこの島の侵食が進んだというほど私たちが権限できているほどです。今さらどんな大悪魔が呼び出せたとしても驚くには値しますまい。
もはや六軒島は完全に異世界に飲み込まれているということで、彼が屈服しないと良いのですが。
前回たっぷり入れ知恵をなされたでしょ
They're
う。
talking about Battler.
この程度では今さら屈服しますまい。おそらくさて私たちはこの舞台を楽しもうではありませんか。今回の主人公はどうやら親方様のようだ。お嬢様とは一味違った脚本に期待しましょう。
When Kinzo strongly concentrated his magical power, a pale light gathered in the empty air, twisted, and a magic circle was drawn there with a deep red glow. Oh. Awooga! With a sound like glass breaking, a new demon could be seen there.
よくぞ我が呼びかけに応えた。72柱の大悪魔が一つ、ガープよ。
すごいところに呼び出されたものね。
Oh my god, her voice.
この血まみれの部屋を掃除するためにゴールドスミス
The most weird fashion in Umineko. The literal devilish woman wrapped in venomous, ominous costume looked at the scene which should have made her cover her eyes and twisted her mouth in a grin.
そのためだけにあなたをカシミヤのマフラーで雑巾掛けをするようなものですよ。
お久しぶりですね。があなたのような大悪魔がとうとうこの島に現れてしまうなんて、いよいよこの島も幻想に沈むのでしょうか。
部屋の惨状よりもこの豪華キャストの方が驚くべきね。シエスタ姉妹が3人もいて、大悪魔ロの上に大魔女ワルギリアに私まで。これは何事？ここはパンデモニウム？地獄の演奏会でも始めるつもりかしら。なるほど。そこで指揮棒が震えるのはあなたぐらいしか思いつ。
そなたにはベアトリーチェを蘇らせる我が儀式す我が召喚契約に依存はないな。
依存も何も。天下の大魔女ベアトリーチェを刺激した伝説の大召喚師ゴール協力はするわよ。もちろん見合ったお題もいただくけどね。で最初の仕事は
第一の番を免れた間抜けどもを捕らえよ。幸いにもここにはまだ7人いるではない。南條にシャノンにカノン、ゴーダに熊沢、キリエにクラウス。ほう、この7人をまるまる生贄に捧げれば第二の番以降を実行するタイミングが訪れるまで生贄の檻に放り込んでお
カシミヤの雑巾が了解したわ。
As Gap shrugged her shoulders, she looked at Kraus, who was still down on his butt. She glared. Then when she snapped her fingers, Kraus was swallowed up by the floor as though a round pitfall had opened up beneath him.
いっちょ上がり。
There was no hole in the floor, but it had certainly looked as though Kraus had been swallowed up by a hole and disappeared. Searching for her next prey, Gap's gaze crossed Kirie's. She snapped her fingers. Yeah, fuck you, Kirie. Ugh! Kirie jumped back as though repelled. Her instincts had been right. After all, in the place where she'd been until a second ago, a round jet black hole had appeared, the same kind that had swallowed up Kraus. However, before she could catch her balance, another pitfall appeared and swallowed her up. Good! Even Kirie had no way of eluding Gap's capture. That was funny, just watching Nanjo fall. When she snapped her fingers again, a shocked Nanjo was swallowed up by the floor and disappeared. When she did it again, 410 let out a short yell and jumped back. This time a slightly larger pitfall had opened, swallowing both Shannon and Cannon, who had been standing in a line at the door. Because 410 had jumped away from the door, the way was no longer blocked. Instinctively aware that he would be next, Goda dashed out through that door. Of course, Kumasawa also escaped with lightning speed, chasing after Goda. As Gap snapped her fingers over and over, round jet black pitfalls opened one after another behind them, chasing them. However, they did nothing but drive the recklessly fleeing pair away and couldn't swallow them up. Goda and Kumasawa had escaped in a matter of seconds.
2人逃がした。
ご安心を。逃走目標を補足中であります。
データリンクよし、狙撃しますか？
いいえ、それは許可できます。貴重な生贄です。親方様の許可を待つように。
大ゴールドスミス卿、指示を待ちます。
第二の番の訪れにはま
We
だ
await your orders!
我が魔力の源泉が囁いておるわ。今 はならぬ。好きにさせてやれ。どうせこの島からは逃げられぬわ。
親方様の魔力の源泉とはすなわちノイズとリスクと運試しつまりは気まぐれというわけですか？
そうとも言うかもしれぬ。ガープ、極儀式はこのまま着実に進めよう。さて、次は我が次期当主たる資格があるかどうかを試す。はてさて、どうやってその資質を確かめた？
その資格があると判断されたならベアとの復活を断念されるおつもりで？
無論だ。にもかかわらず試す。女の身にはわからぬであろうな。
I don't think being a woman has to do with it. Yeah, base! I just screenshot that.
リスクを遊ぶという概念わかりかねるわ。
Gap is base.
おやおや、あなたはそういうのが大好きかと思っておりましたが。
もちろんよ、男に危険なリスクと一緒に恋をささやかれたらキュンキュン。ただしイケメンに
She's so based! Oh my god, I love her so much! She's so based! Oh my god, what a good character. Oh, shut up, Virgilia, you evil witch.
実にかしましい奴らだ。だが少なくとも退屈はせぬ。これだから召喚は愉快なのだ。そなたらには我が儀式のノイズとリスクの天秤の片側を担ってもらう。その働きに期待している。
Six brutally murdered corpses lay in the dining hall, and it was contaminated with red, gruesome decorations. It was now unimaginable that, until just a second ago, 13 humans had been arranged here in a well-organized manner. Kinzo lined up the famous demons and their subordinates, loudly declared the beginning of a night overwhelming mass murders, and swore to himself that he would certainly revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land.
待たせたな。これにて第一の番、いよいよか。金蔵め、相変わらず派手を好む男よ。付きまとわれればしつこいことこの上なき男も、舞台の上ではこれほどまでに映えるというのか。
くそ、相変わらず黒い殺し方ばかりしやがって。頭部半壊だ。てめえら魔女ども悪魔どもの悪趣味には相変わらずうんざりさせられるぜ。
頭部半壊。なるほど。これまでのゲームで一番理想的な殺し方がこれだと気づいたわけね。
理想的？このひでえ殺し方がどう理想的だってんだ。
実に理想的じゃない。一番最初のゲームを思い出してみるといい。
お前はさっき登場しやがった新しい悪魔とかいうやつか。くそ、また魔女の侵食が進んでろくでもないやつが増えたというわけなのか。
The more the witch's corrosion advances, the more Rokujima tilts towards the spirit world. That's why strange, insane people keep appearing one by one. The island had been closed off by the typhoon, so no human can leave it, much less appear as a new character to increase their numbers. But the more corrosion advances, the more witches and demons can appear without limit. I'm sorry, increasing one by one. By now, there might be more demons than humans among the characters appearing in this insane tale. Well, good, they're more interesting. Their numbers might be the thing. Well, they're not more. They're both interesting. I didn't mean that, but they are very interesting. I like when more mystical stuff shows up personally. Their numbers might be the thing that represents this mad corrosion. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. And the corrosion hasn't just affected the number of people, but apparently their fashion sense as well. That's funny. If the corrosion advances any further and even more weird people would appear, just what in the world will they be wearing? Who cares, Battler? It's so scary, I can't imagine. Oh, seriously, give me a break. Her fashion's cute, though. She looks cute. Don't make these weird guys increase in number anymore.
そうはいかんぞ。まだまだ増やすぞ。人間どもの語るクローズドサークルなる間抜けなルールをわらわが一挙ってきたな。ガープよ。お久しぶりね、リーチェ。お元気だった？
They kind of look like sisters.
あなた若返った？私が知ってる頃より2、300歳は若々しいわ。ああ、なるほど。
The demon grandfather had summoned and introduced as Gap. She took a glance at me, then grinned as though she figured something out on her own. That smile felt openly obscene.
レアとの友人らしいな。
He's so much less vibrant than her that he looks like all grayed out when it pans to him. Like, even though he's usually all red and vibrant, now it doesn't look vibrant anymore. That's funny.
ってことは輪をかけてろくでもねえやつってわけだ。しかしクローズドサークルがなんとかって言ってやがったが、どういう意味だ？
今の六軒島のような外界から断絶された場所で起こる連続殺人ミステリーはクローズドサークルとも呼ばれるわ。外界からの断絶、つまりは閉じられた輪の世界というわけ。故に登場人物と容疑者は限定されるのが一般的にもかかわらず、新しい容疑者候補が次々に輪の外から追加されていくのは、つまり人間とミステリーに対する魔女の冒涜ってつもりなんでしょうね。
あなたがグレーテル？なるほど。賢い子みたいね。そういう子は好きよ。舌が甘くてとろけるから。
秘書君、
Okay, Hisoka.
冗談は服だけにしておいて。
デビリッシュプリティの最新作、ジャック・ザ・リッパー・クリスマス・ブラッド。人間界の田舎娘には理解できないセンスでごめんね。
ごめんね。
いいのだけは理解できたわ。ついでに頭にも切れ目を入れたら。
They're just like going at each other right now. I can't.
脳みその通気性も良くなるかもね。
ガープは魔界の流行にいつも敏感でな。しかし今年の流行りも実に大胆だ。わらわも一度ぜひ取り寄せてみるとしよう。リーチェにはアリグレがおすすめね。アリス&ザ・グレーブヤード。今度一緒に666のお洋服見に行きましょうよ。たまには魔界にもいらっしゃいな。このゲームを終えたらぜひそうしようぞ。それにしてもリーチェの対戦相手のお二人はなかなか可愛いな。この子なら頭部半壊死体にどういう意味があるか察しがつきそうね。わかる？お嬢ちゃん。
So is this all just Kinzo trying to resurrect Beatrice? Well, why would Beatrice want to fight Battler if that's the case? Like, why is Beatrice even doing this with Battler? Because of Lambda Delta. I don't know. I'm still confused.
さっきこいつは一番最初のゲーム
Dull little Battler compared to the woman.
どういう意味だ？
言葉通りの意味よ。一番最初のゲームの大人たちの死体が魔法陣の描かれた園芸倉庫の中で発見された時のことよ。覚えてる？
Episode 1. First Twilight. Kraus, Rudolph, Kide, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda. Ugh. The good days when Goda was dead. All 6 of them had their heads pulverized and died.
あの時、あそこには2種類の死体があったわ。それは顔面を粉砕された死体と側面を粉砕された死体の2種類。そうだ、顔面粉砕はルドルフ、キリエ、ローズ、ゴーダの4人、側頭部粉砕はクラウス、シャノンの2人だ。わらわもあの時点では気まぐれに生み出した2種類の死体であったが、より残忍な死体である前者の方がわらわにとってむしろ
ベアトにとって不利。そうか。
I have to...
そういうことか。
Oh, if the whole face is smashed, you can't technically identify that it's them, but if half, you can. I think that's what she means. That's right. The smashed faces might look atrocious, but that made it hard to confirm the identity of each person. For example, at the time Uncle Kraus and Shannon Shan had their heads half smashed, that alone was atrocious enough. But because half of their faces remained, it was easy to confirm their identities. I'm sorry. But Dad and the other 3 were different because his face had been completely destroyed. Even Ayas' son could only guess by inference that had to be Dad because of his clothes and the like. In short, it remained vague until the end whether that had really been Dad's corpse. Oh, I forgot about that, honestly. Oh, more mystery. I'm not smart enough.
もしも推理バトルが行われてたなら、俺は多分親父たちの死体を本人確認不能のため、何しろあのゲームの時にはベアとは一切。
お上手よ。偽装師はミステリーの基本の一つ。たとえ医者に検証させたとしても、犯人とグルを疑われればその結果は信用できない。つまり確実な死を保証できない死体は常に魔女サイドを不利にするということ。
あらゆる死体について偽装死を疑い、その後の事件の犯人に想定することができる。バトラの嫌う手だけど、魔女に対する最も初歩的な一手ね。
ああ、そうだ。だからベアとは赤を使い出した。赤き真実で完璧な検証を行うようになったんだ。
そういうことだ。本来ならばこの第一の番、わらわはすぐにでも赤き真実にて。しかし知っての通り、今回のわらわの戦闘はこれまでとは正反対、赤き真実の兵糧攻めといったところ。そなたが反撃の拠り所にしようとする以上、必要最低限の赤にたった一箇所だけほころびさせればいい。つまりわらわは究極的に言えば、そなたのあらゆる密室そのうちの一つ、たった一回の赤き
散々俺をいたぶってきやがったくせにふざけやがってよ。
とにかく赤を使いたくない、けっちりたい。バトラをいじめてやりたい。しかし赤を使わずに確実、わらわは悩みに悩んだわけ。そのアイデアをガープがくれ、実に簡単な方当たり前なことを言ったらリーチがひらめいただけよ。私は誰にでも容易に身元の判別と完全なる死が理解できる死体を用意すればいいと言っただけつまりはその2つを合体させたわけよ。身元の判別に必要な顔と完全なる死の象徴である魂の器たる頭部の粉砕、この2つを左右ぴったりきれいに合体させたら、あら不思議。
Like when she makes these faces, I think of when she was trying to make Battler acknowledge her. And I'm thinking, why did her and her master, her teacher, whatever, why did they act so evil? Because if they really wanted him to sign, they wouldn't have done that. Like, they're not that dumb.
この頭部半壊死体がパーフェクトであるという答えが出たわけだ。
お前絶対2食パンとか2食アイスが好きだろ。欲張りな子供市民丸出しだぜ。
いずれにせよ
I like that you think of why done it. Yeah.
たとえ頭部が半壊していたとしても現時点では彼らが死んだとみなすべきではないわ。
I don't understand a lot of what's going on, but I be thinking about it.
分かってる。ベアトがもったいぶって赤での宣言を拒む以上全ては疑う。もちろんシエスタの太もも姉ちゃんたちの魔法殺人だって鵜呑みになんか絶対しねえぜ。
本当に慎重にな。最初のゲームの頃だったなら何でもかんでも鵜呑みにしてくれていたのにね。公的種はこうでなくては面白くないというものよ。今は赤がないことを幸い、自由な想像を広げ好きに推理を重ねるがいい。一番最後、一番おいしいところでバッサリと赤き真実にて叩き切ってくれようぞ。
Most people think of who or how and leave out the why, sadly. Well, for me, I've always been a like why person, like, but why would someone do that? Because you can't really think of who did it if you can't think of why they did it, right? So I always think of like, oh, here's Rose. Rose is not dead. Silence, black, cold, painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit. And the first thing she thought was that it would be better if she hadn't. After all, with her body this cold and hurting, the pain grew the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she'd been sleeping on ice-cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. Oh, this is why I always tell myself, even if it's just for a nap, I've got to at least grab a sofa. I know that if I naively try to close my eyes for just a second and end up sleeping on the floor in the study chair, it'll hurt my body later and make things difficult. Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on such a hard and cold floor, the half of my face pressed down against it hurts a lot. If I were to look in a mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see it. No, you would see half your face gone, hun. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make the mark disappear, but I stroked the hurting side of my face anyway, trying to smooth it over. But it was gone. I wonder where this is. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light. But even if I looked up at the ceiling or else the sky, there was only the expanse of blackness, and I couldn't see a proper light. My body was slightly lit. Oh, alone was slightly lit. We're lit. Whereas everything else was sunk in the darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clearer, she started getting nervous about why she was all alone in a place like this. She was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, as she heard the patter, patter, patter of footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. Is it Maria? She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. Oh, maybe it's Angie. But they also were Maria's footsteps, so wondering who in the world would be. Is it Sakutaro? Be in the darkness like this, she stared in the direction of the footsteps. As she did, a faint approaching silhouette came into view. I knew it! I knew it! I'm a genius! I knew it! I fucking knew it! I'm so smart! I'm a genius. It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Who is it? I don't know this kid. But the expression of his face was like a lost child separated from his parents. As a parent with her daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart. The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, she felt pain in the half of her face that had started hurting from the cold floor as though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face.
大丈夫？まだ痛い？ ありがとう、僕。ここはどこ？すごく寒いわ。こっちへ来て、ここにいちゃいけない。
Child took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. Rosa didn't have a clue what was going on. Maybe this is the dead world. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, she dashed along with him, still being pulled. But this was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. It didn't even really feel like she was moving forwards. Even though she was running, she couldn't even feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare. That kind of unreal sensation. So even though I ran, I couldn't maintain my sense of balance and my legs got tangled and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself.
ウリュウ、大丈夫？ごめんなさいね。頭が痛むの。
When that kid said that infantile word, Uryu, pain like being stuck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it had only happened twice, it was somehow able to understand that the child's word was the cause of my pain. So I said it frankly.
その、ウリュウという口癖を。ウリュウ。ちょっと、やめてって言ってるでしょ。ごめんなさい。
I had the feeling that this child's apology caused a sharp pain in my forehead this time. What is this child? I know there's no malice in him, but when I'm around this child, my head hurts.
大丈夫？早く行こう。ここは行っちゃダメ。どうしてここに行っちゃダメ？ねえ、あなたは誰？あなたのママはどこ？僕を作ってくれたのはママだよ。
The child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Who? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all.
僕のこと忘れちゃ。ママが僕を作った。ちょっと、私の子供は。そう。マリアはどこなの？マリア！
I suddenly grew nervous about Maria not being there. Why am I all alone in a place like this? Where is Maria? Well, maybe you're on vacation, bitch. I'm only able to be me because Maria's there for me.
マリアは
Maybe
い
you
る
shouldn't
けど、
abandon her all the time.
今は会わない方がいいの。その方がママのためだし、マリアのためにも。逃げて。え？何を言ってるの？マリアはどこ？返事をして！マリアに見つかっちゃう。早くこっちに来て、ママ！
The child pulled on my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria, so I stopped
話してよ。
walking.
大体、あなたにママなんて言われる覚えはないわよ。僕を作ってくれ。忘れちゃったの。マリアのバースデープレゼントにするために僕を手作りしてくれたの。忘れちゃったの？マリアの作太郎。うん、ママに作ってもらったライオンのぬいぐるみだよ。
A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm he had grasped with his hand. When I knocked his hand away without thinking and looked at my palm, a hole the size of a thumb had opened there. A deep red blood gushed out. It was a hole so big I could see through to the other side.
ウリュウ、大丈夫？大丈夫？どうしたの？
Sakutaro noticed my wound and panicked. As far as I could tell by looking at him, he couldn't understand why my hand had sustained a serious injury, but in my eyes it felt like I'd been injured because he grabbed my hand, regardless of whether there was malice in him. I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly seemed eerie.
あなたなんか知らないわ。作太郎は気持ち悪い下手くそなぬいぐるみでしょ。私は知らないわよ。ママなんかじゃないわ。あっちへ行って消えて。
Slowly, the base of Sakutaro's neck was sliced in a horizontal line. It gaped open, and a pitch black insides peeked out. No blood poured from it, only empty blackness peeked out. Then, from the insides of the gash, cotton snow poured out. and its bits of cotton scattered, he slumped over. Then all that remained was a crumpled yellow cloth and bits of cotton that looked like sticky, crushed cotton candy. A lion stuffed animal, without a doubt. These were the remains of Sakutaro's stuffed animal that I tore apart on that day while overcome by my emotions. The instant I realized that a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart. Like a flood from a broken dam or like a broken TV. Maria cried out in a high-pitched voice. Her voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions in me. One was regret. Yeah, I was overcome by my emotions and went overboard. It was the mother's desire to kneel down right away. Sorry. Hold Maria's head, cry with her, and apologize. In actual fact, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized, crying, but Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who had torn her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. I had been on my knees in an unnatural position, so I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth and cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried even more. Watching that, another emotion welled up. It welled up rapidly, and then it burst. After all, she refused to make up with me, even though I apologized, so there was nothing else I could do anyway, and it was all Maria's fault in the first place. Since she's too busy playing with stuffed animals all the time like this, she can't make any friends, and that's why people treat her like a freak. This is a perfect opportunity to give her some instructive guidance. After all, it's not like I was pampered all the time. Everything eventually breaks, is stolen, or is destroyed by someone. Even I had lots of toys and treasures stolen, broken, mocked, and thrown away by my brothers and sisters and father and mother. But when I cried about that, while I might have shed a few tears, not once did I sob like this and trouble my parents, throw a tantrum, get mad, hit the floor and kick and make a racket. Well, good for you, bitch. No one fucking asked. Even though I always wanted to, I thought I'd get in more trouble if I did, so I always held it back. That's not Maria's fault that you had shitty parents. You're just becoming a shitty parent yourself. Like, it's just so fucking annoying. It's because I held back that I was able to become the horrible adult I am now. That moment I felt something strange. Did she kill Maria? The same feeling when you use a tool recklessly and it finally breaks so that only the base is left. But I wasn't using a tool, I'd just been repeatedly hitting Maria's head with both hands. She killed Maria. So I looked at my hands. From my wrists onwards, my hand had broken off, splintered, and disappeared, as though only that part of my arms had become ceramic. No, as though all of me from the wrists onward had suddenly become ceramic, had broken and fallen. They must have gotten filled with cracks because I hit Maria too much before falling off. After all, look, aren't both of my wrists lying smashed by my feet? There was no pain, but the shocking sight of my hands breaking off from the wrists onwards made me scream. Ignoring my confusion, Maria spoke with an icy voice, slowly moving her hands away from her head. It makes more— okay, now that she's like— I've already been suspicious of Maria, right? But now I made another connection. I could see Beatrice and her teacher doing that to make him sign it because they're so overfilled with, like, hate for how he made Maria feel. Not Battler, but everyone for rejecting Maria for so long. And all this is just Maria's spite because everyone's been rejecting her, abusing her for so long. I mean, I could see that being why. And Beatrice is helping her as one of her friends.
私なんて何をしたのよマリア。これは何なのよ。何これ、何これ。
Behind Maria's back, a black silhouette had appeared. It was the silhouette of an adult. Beatrice? Who? Yeah, Beatrice.
娘の頭を絵本をめ残してもよいかと。
True.
ママはマリアの頭を撫でるより絵本なんかめくってくれない。ご飯だって作ってくれない。マリアが自分で買いに行くの。でも同じお店に何度も行っちゃいけない。顔を覚えられてもいけない。
I mean, I'm all for Maria getting her revenge on her abusive mother.
なんで？どうして？マリアが悪いの？マリアはママに撫でてもらったり一緒にご飯を食べて。どうして？どうして？マリア悪くないよ。マリア悪くない。ママが悪い。ママが悪い。
True.
ママは一緒に遊んでくれないけどサク太郎は一緒に遊んでくれた。本も読んでくれた。テレビも見てくれた。一緒にご飯も食べてくれた。ママよりもっともっと大切な友達だったのに。
悪かったと思ってるわ。でも仕方ないでしょ。
Not being an abusive piece of
ママは
shit.
仕事で忙しいのよ。ママの仕事が仕方ないのよ。仕方ない。
そう、これは仕方なき。そなたの娘が傷つき心を引き裂かれ涙に血を浮かべるなれば今この場にてこのようなることになるもまた。さあマリ、母を名乗った女の言い分は以上だぞ。許せん。無罪かはたまた。
許せない。ママは有罪だ。サク太郎にママがしたのと同じ目に合わせてやる。ママを首の縫い目のところから引き裂いて中の綿をぶちまけてやる。
Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue. In that instant, invisible massive arms stuck their fingernails out and tightly grasped Rose's entire body. As the bones all over her body made a sound like twigs being stepped on, they cracked readily and broke apart. Rosa had understood vaguely. The massive arms were probably her own arms from the time she'd torn Sakutaro apart. From a stuffed animal's perspective, her arms certainly would have been this massive. So she could imagine what would happen next. The sharp nails stuck deep into the base of her neck, and she heard the skin tearing with her own ears. Then, as the two witches watched over her, Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. When Sakutaro had been torn apart, bits of cotton had flown about like snowflakes, but in Rosa's case, something like black, thick tar came out, filthy, flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of the red blood. It was something black, filthy, and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless human kept inside their body. Well, I like this part.
これはすごい。なんと汚らわしき中身。見事であったぞマリ。さあどうか。そなたは母を許せる。無罪か有罪か。
許せない。まだまだ許せない。有罪だ。
When Beatrice brandished her pipe cane, gold butterflies seeped up and restored Rosa's broken flesh in an instant.
一つの命で償えぬほどのそなたの大罪、そして自らの深き罪を思い出す。さあさあ思い出してごそなたがどれほどの罪を犯したの。
もしもし、ママなの？ママは何時に帰ってくるの？ごめんなさいね。今日も仕事が忙しくてあまりになってしまう。またお仕事でママのお仕事、今日も大変だね。本当に忙しい。もうずっと会社に缶詰よ。外の空気も吸えやしないわ。ママの仕事は早く終わらすだけじゃ。
Yeah, you're on vacation, you lying little snake.
次から仕事をもらえない大変な仕事だからどうしても時間がかかっちゃうの。 うん分かってるよ。マリアいい子でお留守番してるから、お仕事いっぱい頑張って早く終わらせてお家に帰ってきてね。
ママのお仕事をなさってくれて、明日美味しいケーキを買って帰ることを約束するわ。
ケーキいらないよ。ケーキ屋さんによって遅くなるより、その分ちょっとでも早くママが帰ってくる方が嬉しい。
大丈夫よ、早く帰ってくるわ。約束する。だから美味しいケーキを2人で食べて、美味しい紅茶を2人で飲んで、一緒に新しい絵本を読みましょう。この間買った狼と羊のパズルで遊びましょう。2人で一緒に、約束よ。
待ってるね。お仕事頑張ってねママ。
ほうほう、寂しい話ではあるが、互いを思い合う良きお何か問題があるというのマリ
その約束は次の日の夕方に約束通りケーキを買っていつもより。
あの日の夕方、ママ宛てに着払いの荷物が来たけど、ママにどうしようって相談したくて、特別な時以外はかけちゃダメって言われてたけど、ママのお仕事の大切なものだったら悪いしと思って電話したの。そしたらママはその日はずっと前からお休みに決まってて、遠くへ遊びに行っているって言われた。マリアは知って、ママが嘘をついてるってずっと知ってた。ママは毎日お仕事でとても大変。マリアを放っておいて遊んでるはずなんてな。ママはお休みって言った人はきっと何か勘違いして言ってしまう。サク太郎がそう言うんだ。マリアは信じた。ママ大好き。もちろんママだってマリアを愛してるって。
ええ、私もよ。愛してるわ、マリア。
Rosa let out a deep sigh. Maybe she felt the weight of her words, and she set the receiver on the bedside phone down. Sorry. The dark room made the starry sky and the ground below the window stand out even more beautifully. On the table front of the terrace was a very cold wine cooler, and the one she shared a glass was gazing at the scene below.
娘さんに旅行って話してないんですか？
行くって言って前にうるさかったんで、以来言わないことにしてるんです。その方が面倒がなくていいんで。
娘さんが気になるなら無理に日程を組まなくてもよかったじゃありませんか。
でもそれじゃいつまで経っても予定が合わないし、それは気にしないでって言ったでしょ。
The slender, middle-aged man clad with white robes gave a small sigh. Rosa reacted instantly to that slight action.
娘の話はなしにして、せっかくの上等なワインが台無し。
私はあなたに一人の人間としてもですが、だからこうして時間を割くのは申し訳ないと感じています。
私と娘の事情は気にしないでくださいって、あなたと二人きりの時に娘の話はしないようにしてるでしょ。電話だって下のロビーでうるさい酔っ払いがバカ笑いしてなければここではかけなかった。
ローザさん、こういう唐突な日程での旅行は娘さんのためにも今後は少し考えませんか？互いの日程があった時だけでいいじゃありませんか。
それじゃ全然日程が合わないじゃないですか。私はいつだって一緒にいたいのに。
それは子供の恋愛の仕方です。大人同士の恋愛はもう少しローザさんと一緒にいられる時間が長く取れないのですが、その限られた時間と機会で僕と。
それはもっと娘と一緒に、女でなく母で。
あなただって望んでいる。娘さんと一緒にゆっくり過ごした。僕は逃げません。僕との時間を優先するために娘さんを犠牲にするのは気の毒だと思う。
Seems like a decent guy.
奥さんとのより戻したんですか？別れるのが嫌になったんですね。
妻の話はしたくない。あなたが娘さんの話をしたくないのと同じです。
Never mind, not a good guy. He has a wife.
そんなこと今まで。
みんな子連れだと分かると手のひらを。あの子の養育費は気にしなくていいからと言っても、あなたはやっぱり子連れだと。
そうは言っていません。ローザさんのことを嫌いになって。私が言いたいのは娘さんをもっと大事にしなさい。あなた自身もそれを望んでいるはずだ。そう言ってるだけなんです。
嘘つき。 私のことが面倒になっただけ。
そんなことは言っていない。
いいえ、わかるの。あの子を理由に何度も捨てられた私だから。雰囲気でわかるわ。そうよ、あなたもそう。
Yeah,
他の男たちと一緒。
I don't think you're abandoned because of your child. Although I'm sure that could be like a reason why people don't want to pursue things with her. Like, it's not Maria's fault. You're the one who had a child, not her.
知らない男と作った子供の親になんかなりたくないんでしょ。ええ、そうよね。子連れの男と付き合ったことがあるけど、その気持ちすっごい分かったの。だから娘を理解してくれるあなたとなら一緒になれるって信じたのに。そうよ、あんたなんて邪魔だったのよ。あんたさえいなければ私はとっくに女としての幸せをあんたの存在が私の幸せをいつも邪魔するのよ。私だってあんたなんか産みたくなかった。いいえ、違うわ。あんたと一緒に幸せな家庭を築けたらと思っても、あんたが生まれる直前に私と温かい家庭を築くと言って私を騙し、永遠に私の前から消え去ったわ。残ったのはあんただけ。愛も思い出も何もない。あの男は今どこへ。私との日々を温かな思い出に勝手に変えて新しい恋人に出会ったかもしれない。そして今度こそ幸せな家庭を築けたかもしれない。そして私はあんたがいる。恋も探せない。男は好きに女を渡り歩いて武勇伝気取り。
This is really depressing. Poor, like, I feel so horrible. I can't believe Maria has to hear this from her mother.
なのに女にはあんたがいる。あんたという重しがいるのよ。あんたのせいで私は恋を探せない。愛が得られない。一人で生きていくしかない。いいえ、それさえも許されてないわ。あんたは誰？何者？私の人生を台無しにして私の新しい人生さえ許してくれないあんたは私の人生の何者なのよ。死ね！消えろ！あんたなんか生まれてきた時から大嫌い。あんたがお腹の中にいた頃からそれを前向きに受け入れようと頑張って良き母を演じてきたわ。
Well, I've always disliked Rosa, but
私は頑張った。同世代の女性たちが独身を謳歌し、時に恋に遊び、あるいは愛。私は女と母の二足のわらじを吐き続けたわ。その私の苦労を誰がねぎらったの？誰も褒めない、称えない。自業自得、子持ちは嫌。負け組の遠吠え、うぶな小娘がいい？こっちから願い下げよう。ケツの青い若造どもが必死だった私はさぞかし簡単に落ちる女に見え。まだまだ恋をしたい年頃の私が日々を仕事と育児で忙殺されていき、どれほど必死だったか想像もつかないでしょうよ。あんたの本当の父親ももちろん憎いわよ。でも破局を迎えた責任は私にも逃げられるだけのしつこさがあったのかもしれない。私はあんたにそれをなじったことはないでしょ。男に逃げられて酔いつぶれたいその次の日があんたの授業参観。泣き晴らした目を厚化粧でごまかしてあんたが的外れな発言をしてクラス中から失笑されてた時のあんたどころか世界中の誰にもわからないでしょうよ。あんたが嫌い、大嫌い。そしてこれまでにあんたを本当に愛したことなんて
Maria's face was still stiff. If the words had really been blades, Maria's whole body would probably be stained red with flesh blood by now. Even after gaining the power of a witch and resolving herself to take revenge for Sakutaro, she still couldn't stand these curses coming out of her mother's mouth.
これがこの女の本性。邪悪を極めし千年の魔女のわらわとて見るに耐えぬことこの上なし。ああマリアよ、今こそ決別の時。そなたの母を名乗った醜き肉の方、そなたの無垢なる魂が親子なる鎖にてこれ以上束縛される意味はなし。自らの魂を今こそ解放。そなたは自らを守る牙と爪を今こそ手。
マリアを苦しめてきた日々を今こそ思い知らせてやる。苦しみの日々を今こそ復讐してやる。
その私を苦しめてきたのは私が復讐したいくらいよ。あんたが生まれる前にそうすればよかった。あんたなんか産まなければよかった。消えてしまえ。うわ
As Rosa howled in a way that can only be described by the word splat, her upper body was crushed, and in an instant became something similar to a wrung, blood-stained towel.
潰れてしまえ。許せない。許せない。
クズがふさわしい姿よ。
Even though Rosa's waist below was standing normally, just the upper half of her body had been pinched, and that extreme contrast was bizarre. Then she fell over, but the instant she fell over, her body was restored.
死になさいよ。
さあマリア、そなたの怒りと今こそ怒りと悲しみの生産の時。ぶつけろ、吐き出せ。そなたの胸に打ち込まれたくさびをすべて押し出し跳ね返せ。
Maria's howl was adorned with the ugly sound of flesh and bone being crushed at the same time. As Rosa, who had foully insulted Maria, lay spread eagle, a neat, perfect circle was cut out of her chest and crushed, as though her chest had been trampled by an invisible elephant. Her heart and her lungs and her ribs were trampled so mercilessly that they were completely indistinguishable. It might have symbolized the pain in Maria's heart up until today.
これで晴れた。母の罪は許せる。いいな、無罪、有罪か。
許せない。まだまだ全然許せない。ママは有罪だ。有罪有罪有罪。許せない。
無論だとも。そなたの苦渋の日々、この程度の罰で見合ってなるものか。思い知るがいいローザ。さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。そなたがどんな姿をしていたのか。殺されるためによみがえれ。己が罪を見そぐために殺されよ、何度でも。
When Beato waved her cane, the body was restored again, and Rosa sat up, coughing violently and in apparent pain. And once again she spat out curses, rejecting Maria.
お前はママなんかじゃない。魔女だ。マリアとママを苦しめる魔女だ。ママの姿をしているからって許さない。許さない。
魔女はあんたでしょ。気持ち悪い本ばかり読んで魔女ごっこにかぶれて消えるのはあんたの方よ。あんたのせいで私まで変わり者扱い。あんたのせいで、あんたのせいでお前なんか産まなければよかった。お前なんか生まれてくるな。生まれてくる前から大嫌いだったのよ。
Maria screamed. Was she unable to bear her anger and sadness, or else had she been taken over by an indescribable emotion? It was surely a cry of hopelessness, and yet it was reality that had to be accepted. Maria knew. She knew that she knew that she was thought of as a burden, but even though she herself had known that, she didn't believe it. She believed that her mother loved her and had done her best to positively interpret several events that could have made her doubt this, trusting and clinging to her mother's love. Oh, I wonder if Angie has to teach Maria how to go back to being her old self. But she had no one except Mama. Even so, she really did like Mama and wanted to return to the days when she'd believed that Mama loved her. So I howled, "I'll erase all of it. I won't accept it. I'll deny it. I'll deny the mother who says these things, the black witch who makes her say them, and the part of myself that can't forgive my mother. But I can't deny it. This is reality, the fact, the truth, the answer. Without any mistake, this is absolute reality." Maria turned Rosa into a lump of meat over and over. Over and over in the dark world that reflected her heart, rang the ugly sound of flesh and bone being torn apart, which would make anyone want to cover their ears. Sorry, let me get a drink really quickly. Anyways, Maria's based for doing this. Keep doing it over and over. That's what she deserves. Each time Beatrice revived Rosa, she dragged her back into the world of endless torture which could not be escaped from even by death. This was the true deepest hell that the endless witch Beatrice could create. However, this world was not made endless by Beatrice's will, because every time Rosa turned into a lump of meat, she asked the same question to Maria.
気は晴れたかマリア。そなたの怒り母を許
せるものか、許せるものか、許さない、許さない。マリアの苦しみのすべてを教えてやる。もっともっと教えてやる。まだまだ足りない。生まれた時から、生まれる前から蔑まれてきたこの怒りと悲しみが
あんたなんかだ。
Revived over and over again, returned to a meat lump over and over again. In various ways, she crushed, smashed, beat, and tore to bits. Flying blood splatter and flesh turned the once pitch black world into a world with mixed red and black. Maria's anger still hadn't calmed down. It was as though she was spitting out all of the suppressed rage from the time of her birth until today. If all that became poison to her heart, then would repeat the murder of her mother, purifying her soul. Would this even wasteful murder save her soul at least a little bit? This endless torture might have become a slight diversion from her sad, unrewarded life. After all, it seemed that she'd finally been able to regain her smile.
思い知れ。マリアの不幸の根源め。思い知れ。私の痛みがこの程度ではないこと。どうしたの？もう笑わないの？笑ってみせろよ。
Half of her skull collapsed, eyeballs flew out, and black cranial fluid gushed. Fragments of teeth scattered.
Umineko, 洗ってみせな。ほら、ほら。
Her whole chest along with her ribs turned inside out, exposing her filthy innards. All of them writhed like some kind of impure creature. Rosa couldn't laugh anymore, but her face was laughing. It was filled with a twisted laugh, and covered with a malice that rejected her unwanted daughter. I erased that laughing voice. Next I'll erase that laughing face. I'll erase it, I'll crush it, I'll tear it to bits. Holy. I wish my Maria emote was approved because it would be perfect for this. Like, I'm still waiting for it to be approved though, but it would be the perfect emote for this. Like, oh my god. I can't wait for it to get approved though. Oh my god, what the hell? Wait, I've seen this picture before! Hold on, I have to use my brain. This is not the first time we've seen this, which could be a hint. Oh, but I can't remember when I've seen this before! I can't remember if it was a witch scene or a murder scene. Oh, my brain. No, I feel like this is a huge hint. This isn't the first time we've seen this image. Oh man, I can't remember. Hi. You wanna be a witch, kill your parents. Well, my parents are already dead, so I guess I'll never be a witch. Just kidding. I'm already a witch. I'm the bunny. Well, actually, I don't know. I'm not a witch. What is the bunny? Like a demon? She asked her sister demon? That's why. Maybe that's what happens if your parents die, you become a demon. And this is not depressing, by the way. I'm just saying. I'm making fun of it. I'm joking around. But yeah, keep killing Rosa. Fuck that bitch. I would kill Rosa if I was Maria. I mean, cops, if you're listening, that was totally a joke. I would never kill anyone. Haha. Haha. Hi. Maria would probably forgive her mother eventually after brutally murdering her countless times. Graciously. For sure. Oh, meanwhile, these guys are so oblivious to everything going on. I can't. Okay, I'll keep going. Shut the fuck up, George! Shut up! I hate you. Why are you even here? Why are you happy? Why are you smiling? I'm dying. My karma caught up with me and I started coughing. You're not allowed to smile. I hate when he smiles. It makes me mad when he's smiling. Like, what do you have to smile about, you Just you wait till you find out your parents are dead and then you'll cry. Battler was looking at the dark night through a crack in the curtains. Every once in a while, a pale white lightning bolt would shine, and he seemed to be enjoying it. The pale white lightning bolts are probably the Chester sisters fucking killing people in the parlor. I can't, and he's so oblivious. Maria, what's going on?
なんだよ、バトラが騒がしくしてるからマリアが起きちゃったじゃねえか。ごめんなマリア。バトラが騒がしくて。
なんだよ、俺のせいかよ。悪いな。寝てていいぞ。おやすみな。
Maria was a bit hazy with drowsy eyes. She was probably half asleep and couldn't think straight.
もういい。寝ない。
いいから寝てろ。まだ寝ぼけてるぜ。
寝ぼけてない。
なんだよ。もろに寝ぼけてるじゃねえか。
Battler, I do not think you should push this little child. I think you're gonna get killed, brother.
寝てろ、おい。
寝ぼけてない。
よせってバカバトラ。もう寝起きのこの機嫌を悪くするなんて。
For real. You fucking tell him, Jessica. Battler's being a dummy. He's gonna get us all killed. I can't. I'm stressed out now. I'm anxious. Shut up, George. Shut up. I hate you.
だから落ち着いて。
寝ぼけてないもん。
Maybe it was because of her delicate mental state after waking up, but Maria suddenly threw a tantrum. Battler had only been trying to tease her a bit, dumbass. But so he was confused by this extreme overreaction. George held her head, trying to calm her down, but Maria's tantrum wasn't going to be quelled easily. Battler and Jessica were trying to push the blame on each other, saying it's your fault too. So are you still on with the Beato and Rosa ship after this? Yes, of course. I think Beato can fix her. Because Beato and Rosa still haven't talked about what happened in the past. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, because that's where that ship started, was the past. And I think, I'm saying like, I think because Beato is so good to Maria, I think she can heal her in a perfect world, right? Do I think in a real world this would happen? No. But Beato's a fucking witch, you know what I'm saying? In this world, they're gonna, I would accept that. I think this is just a part that needs to happen to get them together eventually. Just like Canon need to be like, I'm furniture, don't talk to me, before they can kiss. I just can't see Beato. Really? Because Beato's like hundreds of years older and Battler just turned 18, so I could never ship them. That's like disturbing to me.
こら、二人とも静かにして。
I see them as like friends. I think Beato's a lesbian. But that's me. That's my headcanon. Shut up,
ジェ
George.
シカちゃん、ポットにまだお湯があったよ
I
ね。
hate George.
お茶でも入れてあげてく
One
れ
thing
る？
we can agree on is fuck George.
落ち着いた？マリアちゃん。
Like her tantrum was dying down bit by bit, but she still glared at Battler, who made fun of her with sharp eyes.
バトラー君もふざけて言っただけなんだよ。マリアちゃんが寝ぼけてるなんて思ってないよ。だから落ち着いて。ね。
Nah. George noticed Maria was staring at Battler with incredible eyes. She's gonna fucking kill him! She's gonna kill- I knew it! You will later on, when you see more things, I guess. I mean... Maybe, or maybe I won't change my mind. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna see. But I don't ship them at all. I don't ship her and Bat. I've never shipped them. I see them as friends. I hope they don't get together. I would find that gross. Ew, yeah. Even if they're not, like... I think they're gross together even if, like... the age difference isn't there. Because Beato's too cute for him. Like, Battler does not deserve Beato. I mean, not that Rosa deserves Beato, but, but young Rosa deserves Beato. You know what I'm saying? The young Rosa who just got bullied and just tried her best deserves Beato. You need more answers to see it, though? Well, what the fuck do you want me to say then? I don't know. This is what I believe from now. I don't think I'm gonna change my mind. And despite having just anyway, she's about to kill Battler, so there's that. I knew this was gonna. I was like, you should not be pushing on Maria right now. I didn't Battler, you're a dumbass. And Jessica knew. That's that woman's intuition. She laughed in a small voice. Instead of a laugh, it seemed more like she was muttering while thinking about, or else counting each he. Although, as though each time she said he, something brutal would happen over and over. George felt something creepy for just an instant, but he couldn't spot the madness that peeked out of the depths of the girl's eyes for just a moment. After a short period of stunned silence on George's part, Maria stopped her bizarre, quiet laugh and pushed Storm's arm aside as though telling him to let go.
許す。
マリアちゃんは偉いな。
Shut up, George. I hate George.
バトラ君、マリアちゃんが許してくれたよ。仲直りして。ああ、悪いな。許してくれ。
ほら、仲直りの印にカフェオレつく砂糖いっぱい入ってるから甘いぜ。いらない。でも許すよ。魔女だからね。
One more time, Maria laughed in a creepy, quiet voice, but it was only for a very short time, so Battler and Jessica didn't think much of it. They decided to think that it had probably only looked that way when the lighting lit her cheek with a pale white light for an instant. At that time, they could hear the sound of loud footsteps coming from the hall. It was already about 10:30 late at night. Late at night is usually a time when you aren't supposed to be disturbed. Hearing footsteps like that at this time was far from calming. Then, along with a clearly ominous knock that repeated fiercely, they could hear Goda and Kumasawa's voices. That clearly told them that this was an abnormal situation.
いらっしゃいますか。ゴーダでございます。
どうしたものやら、どうしたものやら。
When George opened the door, the two of them tumbled in, sopping wet. Looked like they had dashed here from the mansion without an umbrella.
どうしたんだよ、二人。何があったんだ。
それが親方様が旦那さん。
Goda, you're so useless. Don't open the door for Goda. I know. Kick that bitch out. Kick that bitch in the face. One thing I don't really budge on is ships, so we'll see. We'll see. You know, I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's coming, but I'm pretty stubborn. I'm pretty stubborn. It was a pitch black room. There were no windows, and with the weak light bulb, one could just barely make out the state of things around them. It appeared to be an old, forgotten underground storage room with some kind of dusty furniture haphazardly thrown into it. Oh, this is where they are. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab a snack. Little snacky snack. Snacky snack. However, with just a little light, one could at least make out that that probably wasn't a storage room. Well, it stores people, alright. After all, that room was sealed off with iron bars, like a prison. Fuck you, Kitty. I've definitely... You know what's crazy? Is I've ended up disliking people more than Kraus because Kraus isn't shown as much as because I've seen people's bad sides. It's like their bad side is so much worse than Kraus. Like, I don't like Kraus, but I've ended up disliking Kide so much more. Although no one I mean, I don't like Rosa, but I like Rosa's past. I like Rosa's potential. But I don't see potential in Kirie. I see potential in Kraus. Because he's been a good brother sometimes. So he has that potential. Where's Kirie's potential? She's just been a hateful bitch.
ここは屋敷の地下なのか。食堂の真下にこんな部屋があったのか。
Yeah, he's an overall dislikable person when you first meet him, but he's really not as bad, you know what I mean? They had dropped into what appeared to be a pit, falling into this room. Therefore, it was natural to assume this room was directly under the dining hall. However, not even Kraus could bring himself to believe that there was pitfalls rigged in his beloved dining hall, where he had enjoyed his meal for years, and that this dungeon-like room lay directly beneath it. But the ceiling above was of crude stone craftsmanship, and they couldn't understand how they could have fallen from somewhere up there. No. No, I don't know why I said it like that. All 5 people who had been dropped here thought the same thing. Although they'd had the sensation of falling into the pit, there was no way they could be pitfalls in the dining hall, nor could this dungeon-like place be directly under it. But the truth was that they had actually fallen to this place and were locked in, so they were confused.
あの高さから落ちて誰も怪我をしなかったのは幸運かもしれませんな。シャノン、カノン、君たちはこんな部屋の存在は知っていたかね。
いいえ、僕たちもこのような部屋のことは存じかねます。
本当に？
本当です。本当にこんな部屋知りません。
Despite their age, Kyrie apparently wouldn't have found it odd if they, as servants allowed to wear the one-winged eagle, might know this mansion's secret tricks. There was a long silence, as if Kraus was evaluating their answer.
いや、シャノンたちが知らないのは事実だろう。何しろ綺麗好きのシャノンだ。彼女がこの部屋を知っていたならもっとピカピカに磨き上げているだろう。この部屋の汚さが君たちがこの部屋を知らないことの証だ。
That's a really smart observation, Kraus. Good boy. I wouldn't have thought of that.
今はそんなことよりこれからどうするかの方が先決だと思わんかね。
Well, Cannon and Shannon aren't going to be helping you.
その通りです。警察にいえそれから救急にも早く電話をしなければ。
Also, I find it still very suspicious that we don't know anything about Nanjo. Like, we know he's a grandpa, but that's it. We know he's buddies with Kinzo, but that's it. We haven't seen anything else, and that's usually suspicious. I'm just saying. Huh? Mr. Teramusa? Nanjo's words were hollow. Obviously, 6 people had been killed here in the dining hall. Everyone had seen the exact moment where they'd been killed, since half of their heads had been destroyed. Nanjo the true witch. Oh my god, imagine. No, like, oh my god, look at us saying the same thing. But, like, actually imagine. That would be so fucking funny. Like, that would actually be so like, that would be crazy. Like, they should do, like, a little mini alternate ending story where it's, like, Nanjo the witch. And it's just, like, that would be hilarious. Oh my god. Anyone could tell that the deaths had been instant with just a single glance. Everyone understood that first aid no longer held any meaning.
ありがとう、南條先生。私たちは伴侶がもう生きてはいないことを理解できてる。気休めでも救急と言い添えてくれて。
Actually, that's more like rubbing it in, not helping or consoling. Huh. I just made you admit that that's not a possibility. Ha! I just eliminated that. Get wrecked. Get frickin' wrecked. Just kidding, that wasn't my intention. I was genuinely thinking about that. I thought it was funny. But also, ha 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 ha. Once again, a gloomy silence dominated the atmosphere. Ooh, it's dominating it, is it? I'm just kidding. But Kraus shook his head harshly over and over for the time being, decided to forget the pain of losing his wife, and dedicated himself to figuring out where they were.
みんな聞きたまえ。親父はもうダメだ。口で言って理解や説明が求められる段階にもうない。
Nobody answered. Without any kind of discussion or mercy, 6 people had been killed in an instant, and Kinzo had been so bold as to proclaim that we'd become sacrifices for a ceremony involving 13 murders. Since we've been locked up in this place, we too will probably become the ceremony's next sacrifices soon. Around this time, our eyes became used to the darkness, and bit by bit we were able to understand more about the dungeon's interior. What we thought was furniture left in the dungeon turned out not to be furniture at all. They were things like small cages to lock people in, restraints, or else torture racks. At any rate, it was obvious that it was eerier than a mere jail cell. Since the objects were rusted together and coated in thick dust, there was no doubt that they had been forgotten. Maybe you could even call these things Kinzo's sealed and forgotten madness. However, we had been locked away in this room. Those objects weren't exactly comforting to people who were locked up, hoping to be released without harm. Speaking of what ifs, I'm writing one for White Album, and it's my first time to write anything, and it's so fucking hard. Oh, well, good luck. That's awesome. It's really cool that you're even trying, you know? So good luck with that. I hope it gets easier.
私たちは伴侶や友人を失い、今はそれ以上に子供たちの身が心配だ。
お子様方は
祈るしかない。そういえば、熊沢さんと郷田さんはここにはいないな。
ひょっとすると無事に逃げ延びられたのかも。
かもしれません。子供たちと合流しててくれれば心強いのですが。
郷田さんはいざという時頼りになるし、
Kumasawa-san is not calm in these situations. She's always like,
きっと力になってくれると思います。
that's what she's like. Like, she's not fucking calm in these situations. Sometimes she's just a fucking witch teacher randomly, but apparently not in this story, so whatever. Don't understand that. Shannon and Cross smiled bitterly a little, but they quickly realized how improper that was and stopped, clearing their throats.
楽観はできないよ、姉さん。僕らに続いて、もう襲われてしまってる可能性だってある。
The mackerel witch, true.
同感ね。お父様が食堂で執行したのは、魔女の碑文の第1の番の6人殺しなんでしょ？なら、第2の番は、寄り添いし2人を引き裂け、逃げ隠れて寄り添っている郷田さんと熊沢さんが、もう殺されている可能性だって。
It's gonna be Shannon and George or Cannon and Jessica.
きっとゲストハウスに合流してて、子供たちを守ってくれているなんて楽観。現時点では全くできないわよ。
Hirie coldly analyzed the worst-case scenario. For her, it was heartbreaking to have lost her beloved husband, but right now the most important thing was protecting that husband's son, along with the other children from becoming the insane family had sacrifices. She overcame her sadness with the parental urge to protect the children from sorrow. It seemed that both Kide and Kraus were strong enough to forget about their grief, if only for the time being. They would let their tears flow later. In order to protect the children, they had to act.
とにかくここを脱出しよう。相当古い牢屋のようだ。なんとか鉄格子を破れないだろうか。室内をくまなく探して脱出し。
ここにはガラクタがいろいろあるわ。何か役に立ちそうな道具とか落ちてないかしら。武器になるものがあるかもしれないし、鉄格子を破れるものがあるかもしれない。
Kide pulled a lighter from her pocket. She herself didn't smoke, but she kept one tucked away in her pocket to light Rudolph's cigarettes. It was an extremely valuable source of light for searching in this dim dungeon.
シャノンはキリエさんを手伝い、カノンは私と一緒に鉄格子の具合を確かめてみよう。これだけ古い牢屋だ。ひょっとするとガタが来ているかもしれない。
私は何をお手伝いしましょうかな。
体力を温存していてください。やがてここに親父殿が現れ、親父殿に言葉が届くのは南條先生だけです。ある意味、南條先生に我々の命は握られているかもしれない。
申し訳ないが、そのお役に。
Yeah, that's because you're a fucking traitor, Nanjo. I see through you. Yeah, that's right.
なら、
You're really just Beatrice's furniture. That's the twist at the end, is that he's really just Beatrice's furniture that she planted. And that's why Kinzo's so buddy-buddy with him.
人間を即座に混沌させる毒？どういうことですか？
What, like a tranquilizer? There doesn't exist such a thing, because apparently cops would use it if that existed. Like, tranquilizers like that don't work.
私たちは落とし穴に落とされて、この地下牢に落ちてきたと信じた。
Unless they mean like their food was drugged.
あの混乱している場で、私たちはそうだったろうと信じたわ。でも、この地下牢の広さを測ってみて分かった。この地下牢があの食堂の地下というのはありえないことなのよ。
どうしてありえないってわかるんですか？
姉さんはバカだな。この地下牢は食堂に比べて狭すぎる。
その通り。1番目に落とされたのはクラウス兄さん。2番目が私。クラウス兄さんはこの部屋に落ちてきた時、その場を動いたかしら。
お恥ずかしながら落下の痛みでうめいている。
Oh my god, he's funny.
その傍らにキリエさんがすぐに落ちてきたんだ。
食堂でのクラウス兄さんと私の立ち位置と落下時の落下場所の距離が明らかにおかしいのよ。
確かに言われてみれば、その次に落ちたのは私だから、お二人の位置関係はよく覚えている。食堂でのお二人の間の距離はこの部屋よりもあったかもしれない。
私たちは落とし穴に落ち集合する下水道管みたいに一度集められてからここに落ちたわけじゃない。落下は一瞬だったでしょ。そんな凝った排水管みたいな穴を転がされた覚えはないわ。
確かに落とし穴では説明がつかんな。
It was a
おか
portal.
しな話だ。
それとキリエ様のおっしゃる人間を
キリエ様は多分食堂に落とし穴なんか。
しかし現に私たちは
落とし穴に落ちたような気がする。無理もないわ。そうとしか例えられない体験だったから。
つまりこう私たちは落とし穴に、例えば毒矢のようなもので撃たれ瞬時に意識を失い、その倒れて床に突っ伏す瞬間の記憶を。
No, I think it's magic because blow darts like that don't actually exist. No.
まるで落とし穴に落ちたよと思い込んでしまっているのかもしれないと。なるほど。食堂に無数の落とし穴が仕掛けられていて、我々がそれに何十年も気づかず食事をしていたとするよりは。
姉さん、時計はある？
うん、懐中時計があるわよ。22時40分くらい。
僕の時計もそうなってる。つまり僕たちは食堂での大騒ぎから十数。
私の時計も我々が混沌させられてどこかへ担ぎ込まれたと仮定するには、時間だけを見るならやはり我々は食堂の真下へ。
時計の針なんていくらでもいじれるわ。私たちが気絶している間に全員の時計を巻き戻したのかもしれない。その可能性がなかったことは証明不能よ。
I mean, that's true, but I think it's just magic.
私たちは用心するに越したことはないというわけですな。
それで南條先生、混沌させる毒は存在するんですか？
それはキリエさんの論法と同じで、私の知らない未知の毒物にそういう効用のものがないとは。
用心に越したことはない。ごめんなさい。無駄な質問。ただ私の仮説によりこの地下牢が食堂の真下とは限らないという可能性は示唆できたと思
う。なるほど。広大な森の中のどこかに隠されている親父殿の隠し屋敷の地下牢に運び込まれている可能性もある。ここを脱出して外へ出ればそれもわかる。それを詮索するのはここから出てからでもいいだろうな。
その通りね。本当にごめんなさい。
いや、今後も何かに気づいたら教えて。ここを脱出する何かのヒントになるかもしれない。
ヒント？
ルドルフからいつも聞かされている。君の発想にはいつも驚かされ、時には重要なヒントにもなるとね。君がここにいてくれたのは不幸中の幸いだ。
ありがとう。私もルドルフさんに聞いてるわ。クラウス兄さんは普段は威張っているけれど、いざという時は責任感にあふれる頼りがいのある兄だって。
さすがにそれを、クソ。それにしても頑丈な鉄のカノンの方はどうかね。
いいえ、こちらも全く。
Rouse and Cannon tried wiggling the bars in various ways. There were a few bars that could be twisted, and a few had enough space to rattle a bit around in, but they couldn't be broken with human strength alone. However, there was still hope if they could use some sort of lever-like tool. It was still far too early to give up yet. The children's lives were hanging in the balance. Even if there was no hope, they couldn't stop their struggle. Actually, I'm pretty sure the chances of the kids getting killed goes up if they escape, because they plan to kill these people as sacrifices. So if all these people get out, then the people who are more readily available are all the kids gathered together. So, ironically, they're kind of putting their kids in more danger by trying to escape. If they were to stop, there's no doubt they'd once again be overcome by the grief of losing their loved ones and curl up, clutching their knees. I think I might pause here